Shalom Israel, Shalom, Shalom. Brother Naquam, watchman for Israel, coming back at you with these precepts and another Monday Night Fire, giving, of course, our honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashima Mashiach, Wamalak Abishai, double honors to the elect elders of the house of David that's been in this truth for decades and decades, patiently waiting and laboring for the second coming of our Lord Yahushai. A hearty, mighty Shalom to all of the mighty men of the Most High God who are out on the highways and byways, pushing this truth, magnifying the ministry, presenting their bodies as a living sacrifice, and then doing all things for the elect's sake. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the men that may not be out there in the highways and byways as of yet, but they're working on it. They're getting built up in the spirit. They're praying, they're fasting, they're studying, they're being diligent, and they're abounding in the work of the Lord. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the Aquaf out there, the sincere sisters that are out there zealous, diligent, and on fire, moving in the spirit of our righteous foremothers. It's like a shalom to the ancient men, shalom to the children, shalom to the elect of Israel scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth, and shalom to everybody tuning in live through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashmi Awashai, Elder Daria Wash, shalom, Elder, Don Israel Tamid, Brother Azariah, shalom, King, Carmel, Yvette McKellar, Quadan, Kasaya, Servant 144K, Shalom Williams, Akaman, Salakia, Akaban Banyasha Allah, Aka Rectitude, HBK Int, and everybody else tuning in and that will tune in, Lord willing. Right? 7 traits of the elect. Do you have them? That's really supposed to be the 144,000. Right? 7 traits of the 144,000 through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashmi Yahushua. Now, the 144,000 are the elect, but the 144,000 are the elite class, if you will, of the 1/3, right? So there's a difference between the remaining of the 1/3 and 144,000. That 144,000 is going to be that elite governing body in the kingdom of heaven that will be made manifest on the earth, right? So I actually want to go to the book of Revelation. First, let's go to Zechariah. And that's the question a lot of brothers ask, right? What's the difference between the 1/3 and 144,000? Well, the 1/3, the 144,000 is part of the 1/3, right? The 144,000 just a very, 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 very small fraction of that 1/3. Notice the book of Zechariah, chapter 13 and verse 7. Awake, O sword, against my shepherd, and against the man that is my fellow, saith the Lord of hosts. Smite the shepherd, and the sheep shall be scattered, and I will turn mine hand upon the little ones. So the shepherd is Yahweh Shah. Now, this happened on one level when Yahweh Shah was delivered up in the Garden of Gethsemane, and the apostles, they scattered from him. But on a future prophecy, this also applies to the nation of Israel. The sword represents the so-called white man, Esau. You read that in Psalms chapter 17 and 13, Job chapter 19, 29 on down, right? So the Romans would kill our Lord Yahweh Shah, and all of the sheep would be scattered. We would fall away. The siege of Jerusalem would take place, would be scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth, and the Most High would turn his hand upon the little ones, right? Where are the little ones? Verse number 8, and it shall come to pass that in all the land, said the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein. And I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, Yahweh is my God. So in all the land, meaning throughout the four corners of the earth, the Most High is going to cut off 2 parts of our people. See, when the angels come, pursuant to the parable of Matthew, the 13th chapter, the Most High is going to have them sever the righteous from amongst the wicked. And in the book of Matthew, chapter 24, 31 on down, the Most High said he's going to gather his elect from the 4 corners. Actually, let me get that 4 corners of the earth, paraphrase. Right? So the 1/3 is going to be gathered from the 4 corners of the earth. And the 2/3 are not going to be gathered. They're going to be cut off. Right? This Matthew 24 and 31. And he shall send his angels with the great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the 4 winds, from one end of heaven to the other. Right? So that covers wherever the children of Israel are, whether you're in Babylon the Great, or whether you're in Japan, or you got brothers in Europe. The elect are going to be scattered from the 4 corners of the earth. That's that 1/3. Now, amongst that 1/3, you're going to have different classes and different tiers based off of the Most High's predestination on a spiritual level, and on a lower level, the works that these men have done. Now, we're all striving to make it to the kingdom of heaven, right? Every single one of us. And if you're part of the 1/3 and you make it, all praise to Yahweh Shema Shah. But we, pursuant to Second Peter, we want to be diligent to make our calling and election sure. And we don't want to be satisfied with the bare minimum. We want to strive for the highest level of mastery and perfection in the truth. And those 144,000 men, they are going to be the epitome of excellency, perfection, and godliness. And those men are on the earth right now. Now, whoever those men are, I mean, only the Most High know, right? There's 12,000 men of each tribe we're going to touch on. Only the Most High know who those men are. You could be one of those men. Another brother watching, you could be one of those men. But we don't know who those men are. The Most High is going to have all that play out in the world to come. But again, the Most High there's certain traits and behaviors and characteristics and spirits about these men that's going to separate them from the rest of the 1/3. Now, this is 2 Peter chapter 1-10. Wherefore, rather, brethren, it's like to give diligence to make your calling and election sure. For if ye do these things, ye shall never fall. So every brother should be striving for the mastery, right? Striving for perfection, striving to ensure that brothers are trying to reach the highest level of this thing, man. You don't want to be a bare minimum brother, man. You want to go above and beyond. You want to do more. You want to read more. You want to give more alms. You want to pray more. You want to fast more. You want to have more integrity. You want to be more brotherly. There's a lot that we can do, right, in these last days to make our calling and election sure. Now, what it means to make your calling and election sure is we were all called. But the Most High said, many are called and few are chosen. So if you were called for this opportunity in the last days to serve the Most High, it's up to you to prove to the Most High that he called you for a purpose. A lot of brothers are called, but they don't fulfill the purpose that the Most High gave them. Some men are called and they fall away through temptation, through riches, through women, through the world, through Satan and many of his different avenues. And then certain men are called and they prove to the Most High that they were worthy of that calling, and you see it manifest through their works, man. Right? So we're going to go into these certain traits of these men, right? Let's go to the book of Revelation, right? The 14th chapter, right? Let's read Revelation chapter 14 and verse number 1. And again, like I said, there's no greater men on the earth than those 144,000 men. In the kingdom of heaven, when a kingdom is established and the government is established on the earth, that is going to be ran by 144,000. Right, let me get this first in Isaiah 9 to prove that. Right, let's go to Isaiah chapter 9. Remember, every society has a government. Every kingdom has hierarchy. Every kingdom has different statuses, different classes, a caste system, if you will. Every society functions based off of rank and order. There has not been a society that was prosperous that didn't function off of rank and order. And how much more in the kingdom of heaven, man? Right, so this is Isaiah chapter 9 and verse number 6. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. So this is speaking, of course, of Yahweh Shah. Now the Most High said that the government is going to be upon his shoulder. This is not Republican, Democrat, left wing, right wing, Green Party, Tea Party. No, this government is a future body of men that will regulate, enforce, and judge anything and everything that pertains to the laws and statutes, commandments, and ordinances that the Heavenly Father is going to make manifest on the earth. Even in this man's world, you have three branches of government. You got one that make the laws, what they call your legislative branch. You got one that execute the laws. They call it your executive, and you got your judicial system, right? That judges the laws. In the kingdom of heaven, you're going to have, see, the laws are already written. You're not going to have men writing laws and, okay, I think we should do this. No, the laws are going to be in our inward parts, right? The Most High is the legislative branch on a spiritual level. He's going to write the laws in our inward parts. And the laws are manifest. They endure for 1,000 generations. That's written. And you're going to have men to police the earth. Remember, we're the only ones that's going to be in order. We're the only ones that's not going to sin. The Edomites, the Moabites, the Hamites, the Japhites, all these other nations, the Ishmaelites, they're going to go off. And they will sin. And when they fall in their sin, the Most High is going to have these men set up to put things into place according to his knowledge to execute judgment. And you may have an Edomite try to murder another Edomite, man. Don't want to keep the Sabbath day. And 144,000 are going to be over different provinces and regions to make sure that the earth is ran according to the will of the Most High. So that's the government. And that's what we want to be in, man. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it, man. I want to be part of that government, man. And every brother that's in this knowledge should have that same attitude. Nah, brother, I just want to ride the coattail of this other brother. And brother, I just want to be the last one with my foot in. I mean, brother, okay. But you should want to be one of the brothers that's teaching and putting the nations in order, man. So that's the government that Yahushua is going to bear. Let's read verse 7. Of the increase of his government and peace, there should be no end. Upon the throne of David and upon his kingdom, to order it and to establish it with judgment and with justice, and from henceforth, even forever, the zeal of the Lord of hosts will perform this, man. So there's going to be order in the kingdom of heaven. It's going to be established with judgment and justice. Let me get a quick precept on that. Judgment and justice. Let's go to Psalms 89 and 14. Right? So this is going to be done by the elect. Psalms 89 and 14. Justice and judgment are the habitation of thy throne. Mercy and truth shall go before thy face. So you have a lot of people, you're looking for judgment from the so-called white man, right? You're looking for justice from the so-called white man, right? It's like, let me see this is going. Right? Bear with me. Try to get brothers in here. Right? You're looking for peace and justice from Esau. The Lord said in Psalms chapter 89 that it belongs to the Most High. Right? So, like, you bear with me. I want to try to get brothers in this live and set this up. Right? So if you're on the earth right now and you don't want to be part of that government, your mind is bad. I'm gonna just tell you straight up, your mind is bad, man. Who wouldn't want to put the nations in order? Who wouldn't want to have them in subjection? Right? You'll be you don't have the spirit of one of the 144,000, man. Even in Wisdom of Solomon, the 8th chapter, the Most High said that the nations shall be in subjection unto me, paraphrasing greatly. All right, let me do this real quick. All right. Right, so let's continue. Right, I want to go back to this in Psalms. Right, I want to go back to this in Psalms chapter 89. Right, Psalms chapter 89. It reads, justice and judgment are the habitation of thy throne. Mercy and truth shall go before thy face. So we hear about the Most High having justice and judgment and his kingdom being established. Right, let's go to Sirach chapter 10. Right, Sirach chapter 10 and verse number 1. It reads, a wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. See, a lot of people in Christianity, they have this false idea that who they call Jesus Christ, whose real name is Yahushua, they have this false idea that when he returns, it's just going to be a damn pizza party, man, an ice cream party all day. And everybody's just going to hold hands and and run around up in the sky with a halo and wings, and it's a free fall. And all the nations are there, and you can eat what you want and do what you want to do. And that's why Christianity is the worst thing to ever happen to our people, man. You have no idea what's going to happen in the world to come. You have been completely beguiled to think that the end-all be-all when Yahushua returns is a so-called white man and his white dad with a white Peter and an Edomite sitting at the gate, and you're walking to these gates, and there's no order, there's no structure. No, that's not how it's going to go down, man. The earth is going to be policed. It's going to be in a police state, right? It's going to be like a martial law, man, for these other nations. And we know how it is in the days of martial law, man. It's really going to be a get down. Really, they call it a Shalom King.
Shalom, King. Totalitarianism.
Shalom.
Shalom, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
God, I was saying totalitarianism.
Totalitarian. That's right. That's what it's going to be, man. Or they call it draconian laws. So it's going to be a real strict government that the elect are going to enforce. And you're going to be mindful that these nations, they're not going to be, with the laws in their inward parts, man. And they're going to be fighting, man, breaking the Sabbath day, committing adultery. They might be stealing from one another. And they're going to be in the flesh, man. The same way we in the flesh right now, they're going to be in that same flesh, but theirs is worse because they're not even Israelites, man. See, we have a conscience to do the right thing. The Lord even said the Gentiles that have not the law do the things contained in the law. So a lot of brothers have an instinct in their spirit to be able to know what's good and bad. It's not right to eat food with blood in it. It's not right to be dealing with that brother wife that had his family on the side and that eats you up when you're driving home from one family to the other. Because you're not supposed to be doing these things, man. It's dishonest, it's disingenuous, and it's full of deceit. But the other nations, they don't have a conscience, man. So it's going to be hard for them to keep these laws, man. And think about it. They've been doing this for forever. Literally. They've been doing whatever they wanted to do forever. Literally forever. There's been times when they've been put into subjection and, David had them in tribute and Solomon had them giving gifts. But, they've always been able to do what they still wanted to do. They were in tribute. They had to bring cattle and gold, but they were able to go back and freak off. Everybody's going to be in for a rude awakening, man. And at 144,000, you're going to be able to put this stuff in order. So let me read this in Sirach 10:1. A wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are they that dwell therein. So the spirit that's on the judge, which is going to be Yahushai, is going to be on his officers. Yes, you're going to have officers in the kingdom. You're going to have governors in the kingdom. You're going to have judges in the kingdom. You're going to have men that exact tribute and take taxes of the other nations. You're going to have men that run a slave trade, that occupies the ships and tell the heathen where they're going, man. You're going to have auctioneers. You're going to have men that are in charge of the tribute. You're going to have men that are in charge of all things, man. Everybody's going to have a particular office. You might make it to the kingdom, whoever's watching, and you might be in charge of divvying out the slaves once they get off the ships, man. Or once they come out these pits. The Most High might bring you up and say, you're in charge of divvying out the slaves. And that might be your job in the kingdom. That's a beautiful job, man. It might be a dirty job. These heathen, they're going to be filthy, and you're going to be over them and slapping them. It's like you're slapping them around and, So you're going to have officers. You're going to have men in positions of authority in the kingdom. You're not just going to be up in the sky with a halo on your head and wings playing spades with Biggie and Martin Luther King, man. And the Most High said, and what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are they that dwell therein. So the spirit of Yahweh, Ba'ashmi Yahushua, that's perfection. That spirit is going to be on us, right? But you got it, King.
Shalom, shalom, Israel. Let's go to Amos chapter 3 and verse 16, right? The perception of heaven is taught by the so-called white man, right? The heaven that we know, right? Little white angels flying around and you're just sitting there playing your harp, right? And it's rainbows all day and you're lounging on a cloud. No, heaven is rulership, right? Heaven is having the authority to dictate and tell whoever is in your subjection what to do, right? How they're supposed to go by their day-to-day lives, what ordinances they're supposed to keep, right? Laws that they teach. This is the so-called white man's heaven, right? He charges us to learn his English. He charges us to learn his writing system and his judicial system, right? His eating habits, his health system, everything that he puts into perspective, he causes us to understand it. Now the roles are going to be reversed. We're going to be the ones who implement righteousness back in the earth. Take away the mourning from the animals and the trees and the water, right? We're going to be the ones to set that in order, right? So this is Amos chapter 3 and verse number 16, right?
3 and
Joel 3 and 16, Joel 3 and 16, right? And it reads, the Lord also shall roar out of Zion and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the heavens and the earth shall shake. But the Lord will be the hope of his people and the strength of the children of Israel. Right. So in that days, that weeping and gnashing of teeth and crying is gonna be ceasing in the nation of Israel. Right. There's gonna be no doubt in anybody's mind who's walking on God's green earth who the Lord's chosen people are. So shall ye know that I am the Lord your God, dwelling in Zion, my holy mountain. Then shall Jerusalem be holy, and there shall no strangers pass through her anymore. So we're going to be holy. We're going to be set apart. We're going to be back in that first estate that we were in before we fell. Right? No more seeing these young men walking around killing, shooting, murdering, having their pants sagging, being high, right? Effeminate. All that's going to be out the window, man. That's going to be like a bad nightmare. No more the daughters of Zion prostituting themselves out, right? Being men, right? Excessive drinking, just being foolish, right? We're going to go back to being holy. And it shall come to pass in that day that the mountains shall drop down new wine and the hills shall flow with milk. Right? What are those mountains? What are those hills? Those are those other nations, right? Getting the understanding from us, putting into subjective what they're supposed to be taught and what they're supposed to be learning and what they're supposed to be teaching their children, so on and so forth, right? That's why the brother went to Sirach 10 and 1. As is the judge, so are the officers. We're going to be the judges of the earth. We're going to be the ones who teach righteousness in the earth. We're going to be the ones to eliminate all the lies that were taught thousands and thousands of years and put truth back in the earth, right? Now, don't get it confused. Esau, Moab, Ammon, Ham, they're still going to be going through the curses like we were, right? They're still going to have to pay bills and taxes and tributaries to us, right? They're still going to have to travel to Jerusalem and be outside the gates for the high holy days, right? We're going to charge them how they charged us, but they're going to have a great understanding, right? They're going to have a great understanding because we're going to put it in their minds who's in charge. Who has that role that they played from what? How long has Esau been in power? What? Then I can't even give you a time frame.
give them 2,000 years.
2,000 years, right? And all the rivers of Judah shall flow with waters, and a fountain shall come forth of the house of the Lord and shall water the valley of Shittim, right? So the Lord is going to give us that understanding, that absolute understanding. We're going to be perfect in his sight. And with us being perfect in his sight, we're going to cause those who are under us to be perfect. But these heathens can't be perfect. They can try to be perfect. We're going to require perfection, but we're still going to be beating their ass, man. We're going to get them into subjection because Egypt shall be a desolation and Edom shall be a desolate wilderness, right? For the violence against the children of Judah, because they have shed innocent blood in their land. But Judah shall dwell forever, and Jerusalem from generation to generation, for I will cleanse their blood that I have not cleansed, for the Lord dwelleth in Zion. Right? We're gonna be so close to the most high, it's gonna be like we're being washed in the finest waters every day of our lives. Forever, right? No 1,000 years and we're done. That's not heaven. Right? We're gonna be in heaven. And we're gonna put those under subjection into the understanding that the Most High is going to put in our spirit. Right? But you got it, King.
Yeah, that's right, man. And we're looking forward to this. Most High willing, we make it. We're part of that number, man. right? Or the Lord said, let me get this in Psalms chapter 22 real quick. This is Psalms chapter 22 and verse number 26. It reads, the meek shall eat and be satisfied. They shall praise the Lord that seek him. Your heart shall live forever. So the meek represents the elect. They're going to eat in the days of famine. They're going to eat in the days of trouble, but they're also going to eat up the bread and eat up the table that wisdom has prepared, right? And they're going to praise the Most High. Verse number 27, all the ends of the world shall remember and turn unto the Lord, and all the kindreds of the nations shall worship before thee. So we're not going to have a copperstone in the kingdom of heaven. The 144,000, they're not going to go for that, man. The Most High is going to give them that authority, if Yahweh Shah don't already destroy it, to break these things down, man. You know, when you read the book of Ezekiel, the 39th chapter, you read about the land going through a cleansing process, the weapons being burnt, you understand, and the ammunition. It's going to be tanks, it's going to be debris, you know. Don't think when the kingdom of heaven, when Yahweh Shah returns, that you're just going to get beamed down inside of your mansion. No, there's going to be a process. Think about it's going to be bullets, dead bodies, ammunition, tanks, warplanes, nuclear silos, idols and different things that these heathen are going to have, amulets and gems and things underground and things above ground. All that stuff has to get robbed, sifted out. What can we take and dedicate to the temple or to the Most High? We got to get burned. That's an accursed thing. We got to get destroyed, and all that stuff got to be done through, man. And that's going to be done by the 144,000. They're going to be rifling houses, taking stuff out, man, making people bow down to the name of the Lord. Everybody's going to worship Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. You're not going to hear Allah in the kingdom. That's on this side. You ain't going to hear no Brahma, Chemosh, Molech, you know? You're going to hear the name of Yahweh and his son Yahweh Shah. And we're going to be like gods on the earth too. Verse number 28. For the kingdom is Yahweh's, and he is the governor among the nations. So the Lord called the shots. Don't let Trump get you all twisted, man. And Kim Jong-un, and stop praising Vladimir Putin for what he does and men for the policies that they put on the earth. The Most High is the governor, man. He's the puppet master controlling every world leader to do his will. Not to do theirs, but to do his will. Verse 29. All they that be fat upon earth shall eat and worship. All they that go down to the dust shall bow before him, and none can keep alive his own soul. Huh? So who's the people fat on the earth? The so-called white man. Right? Didn't the Most High say that he would get the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven from above? So he has the fatness of the earth, man. He's the fat man eating off of the wealth and the riches of the Israelites, man. He's the man that has robbed the earth of all of its gems and jewels and oil and gold. He has robbed the people. He has robbed their minds. But no matter who you are in those days, if you're part of the 144,000, you're going to be responsible for ensuring that this prophecy is going to come to pass anyway, but you're going to live out this prophecy. And these men that go down to the dust, right, that represents the Esau. And that goes back to Genesis, the 3rd chapter. The Most High told the serpent, upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. Meaning you're going to be in the lowest state forever. So everybody's going to bow down to the men of the Lord, man. Let me get this in Psalms 122, right? Psalms 122 and 5. And this stuff gets me excited, man. You know, this stuff it should get you excited. Right? You come out these plantations, man, you're dealing with these nations, these Edomites, and then you're constantly reminded through the precepts that this isn't the end, that there's a world that the Heavenly Father has set up where you're going to be in power, where you're going to be the head, where you're going to call the nations and they're going to do your will when you need it done. Man. Psalms 122 and 5. For there are set thrones of judgment, the thrones of the house of David. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. They shall prosper that love thee. Peace be within thy walls and prosperity in thy palaces. We're going to have peace in our walls, prosperity in our palaces. We're going to have palaces. Your palace is going to be prospering. Even if you buy a palace on this man's word, you gotta pay taxes, man. All these celebrities, man, they be renting out these mansions, man. These guys don't have no money. All that stuff in Cribs, you was watching Cribs and MTV growing up, they ain't had that, man. They had renting that stuff out, man, borrowing it. They had fake gold and jewelry on, man. All them cars, we thought that stuff was real, man. You know, nobody was ever in those houses. Everything was too neat. It was too. They didn't have peace in their palaces, man. And the Most High said there are set thrones of judgment, the thrones of the house of David. Now it says thrones plural. Now the ultimate throne is for Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua, right? But there are going to be other thrones. You're going to have thrones for the 12 apostles, and you're going to have other thrones for other men of the Lord. You know, you might be a brother that's over the land of Edom, huh? And the Most High have you had these heathen build your throne, and you're stationed in the land of Edom for 5 months, man, to get them in order. Not to be long-winded. Remember, the Lord sent David and Joab for 6 months in Edom, huh? And they was killing all of the men. That's First Kings in 11 and 14 on down. They was in the land of Edom for 6 months doing a genocide and ethnic cleansing. The Most High is going to have men in set thrones, man. I'm not talking about being a damn manager at your job, man, or a supervisor at Burger King. A lot of brothers, they power trip because you're a supervisor at Burger King. Yeah, get the flipping the burgers. Hey, these worldly titles are nothing compared to the 144,000, and they're going to have spiritual power. They're going to be able to read your mind, and the Most High may give us the spirit to fly. You know, you may have the spirit to call upon your chariot, and it beams you up, and you instantly go to the next land, man. So these are the things and the promises that we look forward to based off of what's written, man. And the traits of the 144,000, they're going to believe these things. They're going to have faith that what we're reading is going to come to pass. But you got it, King.
God. And that's key, faith, right? 144,000, they don't doubt, they don't question, they have faith. Right? Like the brother said, we're going to believe we can fly. The Lord told us we'll fly. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 60 and start at verse number 8. Right? The Lord told us we're going to be flying. Right? No, it's not going to be like Harvey Birdman with the wings. How they always envision these angels with wings on their backs and they're just hovering. No, the Lord going to do something we've never would have thought of. Right? The Lord said, your thoughts are not my thoughts. So we don't know how the Most High is going to glorify our bodies and make us perfect, but we know it's going to be glorious. It's going to be mind-blowing, right? It's Isaiah chapter 60 and verse number 8. Who are these that fly as a cloud and as a dove to their windows? Surely the isles shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first, to bring thy sons from far, their silver and their gold with them, right? And no, we're not talking about getting in a boat and sailing from here all the way to Israel, right? That's talking about the chariots that the Most High has awaiting for the elect, for the 1/3 who is sealed, right? Worthy to be delivered out of these captivities, right? He's bringing home his sons and his daughters, right? The first fruit of Israel, right? He's the one who's delivering us. We're going to be flying, right? It says, who are these that fly as a cloud? Right, unto the name of the Lord thy God, and to the Holy One of Israel, because he have glorified thee. Right, when the Lord glorifies us, we're going to be flying in those chariots back home to where we need to be. Right, this whole chapter is fine. This is one of my favorite chapters in the Bible. Right, this gives you hope. Like the brother said, you get off the plantation, you run down. Right, you know, everybody when they leave the plantation, they shoulders shrugged up and your head down, you tired. You exhausted. You can't really enjoy the time with your family like you want to, because Esau is wearing down the saints. Right? Open your Bible up and read Isaiah the 60th chapter. Right? Get that jolt of energy all over again. Right? In verse number 10. And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. Right? So the strangers are going to build up our walls. Like the brother was talking about the elect getting everything in order for the generations to come afterwards. Right? Those men who are over top of these corporations who aren't destroyed in this nuclear holocaust that's coming, they're going to be the ones building up our walls. They're going to be the ones building Jerusalem up to a T. How they made Benjamin Banneker make DC, right? How we had to build the White House. What else? All these plantation houses and all that. How we had to do that, right? Your boss is going to be the one building up our walls. Your boss is going to be the one building up your palace, right? Getting your mansion ready for you to kick your feet up for the next eternity, right? Can you look up the seven wonders of the world? I can't remember. It's in India, right? It's a huge palace.
Well, Taj
The
Mahal.
Taj Mahal, that's what it's called, the Taj Mahal, right? So this man built a shrine or a dedication to his wife, right? So that she can look at it. And people visit all over the world to take pictures in front of it, right? It's beautiful, right? We would be lying to say it's not beautiful. But this is what the Most High allowed the heathens to have. What's in store for the elect?
Right.
Those who have forsaken this world and put on immortality, right? Like, look, you got Esau over there dressed in their clothing, taking pictures in front of it, right? And if I'm not mistaken, I think it took 14 years to build it, 15 years to build that, right? He had servants build that all the way up just for his wife, right? She may have died. She may have died. I'm not too sure, but look how that's magnificent, right? Imagine you waking up in the middle of the night, right? You want to step outside and look at the stars or get some fresh air, and you just standing right in the middle of that. It's at least 250 people standing in front of the Taj Mahal.
Yeah.
That's what's waiting for the elect, right? That's what these heathen are going to be building up for us, right? They're going to be sweating, bleeding, dropping dead, because it's going to be hard work, man. Bricks aren't light. If you've never done manual labor, you bricks aren't light at all, right? That's look at that, man. That should give you motivation that the Most High said that you'll have that times damn 1,000, right? But we can go back to Isaiah. I got a precept. I'm gonna come back to this. Let's go to Revelations 21 and verse number 23, right? Because your house is going to be filled with stolen items, right? The stolen items they took from us, they're going to bring them back, right? Return stolen items. You know how the police come back and they bring back your laptop or your car that was stolen? That's what the Most High is going to have happen to us. All the gold and the riches, the rubies, the gems, the onyx, the carbuncle, all that's going to be returned to its rightful owners, right? The children of Israel, right? This is Revelations 21 and 23. And the city had no need of the sun, neither of the moon to shine in it, for the glory of Yahweh did lighten it, and the Lamb is the light thereof. Right? So we're going to have an immense amount of understanding. Right? We're going to know about the elements, when it's going to rain, what type of soil needs for what fruit or what vegetation. Right? Why is this cough persistent in my heathen? I know how to fix it. Right? We're going to have the immense amount of information that you could, we're going to be Google, right? How you can type and ask Google anything, right?
Right.
The elect are going to be Google. And the nations of them, which are saved, right? And no, they're not going to be saved. They're just being, what's the
Preserve.
word I'm looking? Reserved. That's the perfect word, right? The nations which are saved shall walk in the light of it, and the kings of the earth do bring their glory and honor into it, right? So all the honorable things of the land of Moab, of the land of Ammon, the land of Ham, they're going to come bringing it and bowing down to us, giving us any and everything they desire, right? Look, I have these hundreds of pounds of gold. I just want to give it to you, your majesty, right? We're going to take it. Go ahead, you got it, King.
Quick point. Yeah, it reminded me of that movie Blood Diamond. For brothers that seen Blood Diamond. And
Uh,
in Africa, man, they got the Hamites in them damn waters and the mountains. They be out there with that sifting pan. And if they find a big thing of gold, man, they gotta bring that stuff up, man. Or they get their hand chopped off, or they get sold to somebody, right? They got to bring that up. Here's what I found. Then the Edomite be sitting up there. He take his monocle, he kind of look at it. He take the gem and he send him get back to work, man. You know?
God, God, and we not going to lightly take it. Like, thank you. No, we going to snatch it. Damn near pull their wrist out of place, right? Because it belongs to us anywhere. Anywhere we set our foot is ours, and we're gonna get back to that mind state, right? But we can go back to Isaiah chapter 60, Mm. right? Verse number 11. It says, "Therefore thy gates shall be open continually, and they shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentile, and the kings may be brought." Right? So it's going to be a lot of slave trade going on in our kingdom. Right? We're gonna bring the forces of the Gentile, we're gonna bring the kings, we're gonna have auction blocks, man. How they did the $1 for this, the $2 for that one sold. We're gonna be doing the same thing, man. The Moabites are gonna be up there being the auction men for us, or the Hamites, however we feel fit, right? For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted. Right? They're gonna be cut off. Right? Let Salaki, Djibouti, right, in Africa say they're not gonna do what Babylon tells them to do. They're gonna get utterly wasted and bombed. That's the same thing we're gonna do to them. Right? Because we're that glory of Lebanon, those fresh fir trees, pine trees, all these trees are gonna be beautiful, and that's gonna be in the land of Israel, right? That enclosed garden. Right, but you got it, King.
That's right, man. And this isn't gonna be for everybody, man. This isn't just a handout for the slothful. It's in a handout for brothers that don't believe. Got brothers saying, I don't really know about that. That little old me, why would the Most High do that for me? I'm just a Negro from Atlanta. No, brother, you got to remember these things, man. These are the promises, and that's why we're going into the traits of the elect. These are for the elect, the 144,000, right? They're going now. You're going to have the rest of the 1/3. They're going to have their portion, but they're not going to have the same authority as those 144,000. So let me get this in Revelation. Actually, let me get Revelation 7, right? Just for brothers that may not know, right? This is Revelation chapter 7 and verse number 2. It reads, I'll start at 1. And after these things, I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. So John the Revelator saw the angels holding back all of the destruction. The 4 winds represents the 4 complete amount of destruction that the Most High has: nuclear destruction, be it the chariots and be it the ICBM missiles, and they're not going to destroy the earth, nor the sea, nor any tree. Right? The earth, because there's inhabitants on the earth. The sea spiritually represents the people, and the trees are symbolic for man. Verse 2. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God. And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads. So all hell is not going to break loose until the 144,000 are sealed. And that's why it's paramount that brothers are out there doing the work of the Most High and teaching the people. That's why it's so important to focus on teaching. That's the only thing that matters in these last days. For the men of the Lord that know that you're Israel and that are teachers, your priority is teaching and pushing the word out there on a very, very, very high level. That way, the word goes out, and those who are created to believe will hear the word and believe and be sealed. Right? So once that number is done, that's when the destruction is going to go down. If you're a teacher and there's any other priority above that, then you're not a teacher. If you have any other what's the word I'm looking for? Any other motive, or you have any other damn focus other than pushing this word out there that the elect may be sealed through repentance and keeping the commandments through faith, then your mind is bad. Because we're looking to get the hell out of here, man. right? So let me read on. Verse number 4. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and they were sealed in 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. So that's where you get the 144,000 from. We didn't make it up. It's in the Bible. And we don't know what number we're at now, right? You know, we could be at 130,000 out of 144. We could be at 133,990, and then there's a few more that have to be sealed. We don't know. The Most High doesn't give us a debriefing every Shabbat. And there's this big chart from heaven with all these metrics and all this graphs, and here's where we're at, and you spend 5 days doing. The Most High don't do that, man. He don't give us a rundown, you know, and a packet of the breakdown for all of the men of the Lord. And you go through it and you want, no, you do this by faith, right? We're doing this because we believe. Now we don't know what number we're at. We could be at, I don't believe this, but we could be at down, 25,000, which I firmly believe are way, way more than that. But the point is that shouldn't be your focus. What number we're at, your focus should be doing the work of the Most High, right? Verse number 5. I'm not going to read all of this. Of the tribe of Judah were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Reuben were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Gad were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Asher were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Naphtali were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Manasseh were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Simeon were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Levi were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Issachar were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Zebulun were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Joseph were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Benjamin were sealed 12,000. Then you have the remnant. That's after that, the multitude, which is the rest of the 1/3. Let me read that. And it's like, after this, I beheld, and lo, a great multitude, which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds and people and tongues, stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands. So that represents the rest of the multitude that's going to be delivered in the days of trouble, in the days of the famine, in the days before the missiles drop, in the days of Jacob's trouble. That's that great multitude, that 1/3. And how do you know that represents Israel? I want to get one quick precept, Salakia. One quick precept. This is how you know that represents Israel. It said that great multitude. This second Ezra, chapter 3 and verse number, that's 15, I believe. 16, right? Second Ezra 3 and 16. And unto him thou gavest Isaac, and unto Isaac also thou gavest Jacob and Esau. As for Jacob, thou didst choose unto thee, and put by Esau. And so Jacob became a great multitude. So when the Lord said in Revelation chapter 7 that he saw a great multitude, that's that same great multitude in Second Ezra 3 and 16. It says, and so Jacob became a great multitude. We're that great multitude scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, right? That could be speaking diverse languages, mixed amongst the nations, scattered abroad. That's that 1/3, but the 144,000 are these top tribes right here, right? And these men are the ruling class of Yahweh Bashmi Yahushua, right? But you got it, King.
Con. And let me back on this point, the point you made about being a teacher, right? Another attribute of the elect is being a great follower and following instructions, right? That's a chief attribute of the elect,
Right.
is being a follower, right? We're not talking about following these knuckleheads, right? Knuckleheads, man.
That's from
from the Sabbath, man.
right, right.
Right, following these foolish people out here in the world. No, you got to be an excellent follower of instruction of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Right, you got to follow the Lamb wheresoever he goes. Right, let's before we go to that, let's go to Sirach chapter 44, and I want to start at verse number 1. Right, because our forefathers are the elect. Right, they were leaders of the people. Right, they had faith, they had understanding, they taught mighty. Right, they thought and understood under times of tribulation, right? Wisdom was dwelling all with our forefathers, right? Even our forefathers who was in wickedness, they had wisdom on the left hand side, right? You know, Jake is the wise to do evil. They can manipulate anything and make it seem good, right? Our people are just so in tune with everything, but to be part of the elect, you have to be a great follower of Yahweh Shem Shai, right? That's first and foremost, right? But this is Sirach chapter 44 and verse number 1. Let us now praise famous men and our fathers that begot us. The Lord have wrought great glory by them through his great power from the beginning. Such as did bear rule in their kingdoms, men renowned for their power, giving counsel by their understanding and declaring prophecies, leaders of the people, right, by their counsels and learning, meet for the people, wise and eloquent in their instructions, right? These are the elect men, leaders of the people by their counsels and learning, meet for the people, right? How do you think Solomon got all this wisdom? He got it from the Most High. He followed instruction. How you think David was so mighty? He got wisdom from the Most High because he followed instruction. Right? That's the most important thing. So if you call yourself a teacher, or you call yourself a prophet, or you call yourself a counselor, whatever you may call yourself in this truth, a bishop, a deacon, right? You have to be a leader of the people by following the actions of our forefathers, right? Chiefly Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai laid the blueprint to be perfect, right? Let's go to Revelations chapter 14 and verse 1, right? To land me back off Revelation 7 that the brother brought out, right? This is the Lamb. Look, the subheading, the Lamb and the 144,000 on Mount Zion, right? Let's see what the Lamb and the 144,000 were doing, right? This is Revelations 14 and 1. And I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the Mount Zion, and with him 144,000 having his father's name written in their foreheads. Right? No, that's not talking about a tattoo. Right? That's talking about having the understanding and the commandments and the knowledge of Yahweh Shem Shai in their minds, in their hearts. Right? And I heard a voice from heaven as the voice of many waters and as the voice of a great thunder. And I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps. And they sung as it were a new song before the throne. Right? They're saying they sung as it were a new song because it's new to us. We don't know this song. Imagine you driving in your car on the highway and you hear who's a popular DJ? Damn, who the dude that be on Funk Flex, right? Funk Flex always dropping that atomic bomb sound and play a song 8 times over because he liked the song. That's how we're gonna be when we hear this, right? When we understand the knowledge of Yahweh Shem Shah, we're gonna be singing before the throne like we just want to throw that on repeat over and over and over, right? Folly Point. But when that Jay-Z and Kanye West song came out, Otis,
Right.
right? He played that joint 50 times in a row. Right? Mind blown, like, oh my gosh, boom. And he started it over again. Right? That's how we're gonna be. Singing before the throne. And before the four beasts and the elders. And no man can learn that song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth. These are they which are not defiled with women. Right? No, they're not literal virgins, or they haven't had a wife, or they haven't brought forth children, right? For they are virgins, but they're not defiled with the philosophies and the ideologies of this world, right? Their mind isn't fixated on things that are destroyed, right? They remember Lot's wife. Their mind is solely on Yahweh Shem Yahushai. These are they which follow the Lamb wheresoever he goeth. So the elect are great followers, right? They move when the Lamb moves, right? They sit when the Lamb sits. Everything they do, it revolves around the Lamb. These were redeemed from among men, being the first fruits unto Yahweh and unto the Lamb. So the first fruits are great followers, right? And if you have problems with authority, if you have problems with order, taking correction, you may not be part of the elect, man. Right? You may be a brutish man who knows that he's Israel, or a brutish woman who knows that she's an Israelite. right? You have to be able to take correction and follow the Lamb, right? Verse number 5, and I got one more precept. In their mouth was found no guile, for they are without fault before the throne of Yahweh. So the elect is going to be a great follower, and they're not going to be vile, right? They're not going to be reprobate. They're not going to be foul, right? They're going to speak good things. They're going to bring forth good tidings, right? Because to be able to be found without fault before the throne of the Most High is beautiful. Before the throne of Yahweh Shai is beautiful, right? Imagine all the foul things you say throughout the day and don't even realize it, right? The songs that you may be listening to, you just regurgitating the words, and it's just pure vanity and foolishness, right? But in their mouth was found no guile. Right, let's go to Baruch chapter 4 and verse number 8. So work on your following skills, right? You may not be a part of Watchmen for Israel. You may not follow the camp. You may just enjoy, brothers' teachings, right? But you need to follow the Lamb, right? You need to make sure you're going in the same direction as Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, right? This Baruch 4, I believe that's 3.
Oh, Salakia. Let us Baruch
You can-
4.
All
You
right,
want
Baruch
what?
5. It might be 5,
You want 5 and what?
8. Bob Kishah. Yeah, Baruch 5 and 8. Right, I'll start at 7. For Yahweh have appointed that every hill and banks of long continuance shall be cast down and valleys filled up to make even the ground that Israel may go safely into glory of God. Moreover, even the woods. So to elaborate on that, the Most High is clearing all paths to make it so that the elect can go through and be safely unto Yahweh Shem Yahushua, right? And it's not just talking literally just about banks and rivers and whatever that may be. That's whatever's stopping the elect from getting to that land that the Most High set up for them, right? Moreover, even the woods and every sweet smelling tree shall overshadow Israel by the commandment of God, right? There'll be no trials and tribulations that we're going to have to deal with, right? This is the point right here, verse number 9. For Yahweh shall lead Israel with joy in the light of his glory, with his mercy and righteousness that cometh from him. Right? So you can't follow the Most High if you don't know how to follow the Lamb. Right? You're not going to be able to know the direction that you have to go. Right? He's going to lead us with joy. If you're not a good follower, you're not going to follow the Lord, who's leading us to joy. Right? He's leading us to with his mercy and righteousness. Right? You may be getting caught up in doctrines and philosophies, right? Your homeboys and homegirls of this world, and it's destroying your connection with Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, right? And I'm not talking about, how Christians say, I have a relationship with God. No, the connection that you have with Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is the understanding, it's the doctrine, right? It's the law, statutes, and commandments, it's the faith, right? That's destroying your connection with your power, right? But you got it, King.
Yeah, that's right. And I want to add, because I want to go back. I want to read this again, because I was meditating on the precept in Revelation 14 and 4. Right? This is a beautiful account right here in this chapter right here, man. For brothers that are striving for the mastery, that striving for that crown, that want the kingdom of heaven. This is a beautiful chapter, right? This Revelation, I'm gonna read 14 and I'm gonna read 5. That's what I want, 5. And in their mouth was found no guile, for they are without fault before the throne of God. And then let me back on the brother's point. See, when it says for they are without fault before the throne of God, it's not as if those 144,000 never sinned. We all go off. Man. Everybody sins. It's not a brother. I don't care who he is and what the hell he said. That brother goes off, man. If he's an Israelite, he goes off in the truth and out the truth. So it's not as if they're completely sinless. What it says they're without fault, it means that the Most High is not imputing unto them set sins and charges, right? So if the Most High knows that their flesh isn't right, He's saving them by their sincerity and by their spirit, huh? So part of being 144,000 is having a clean spirit, because your flesh always has fault. but your spirit may not have fault with the Most High. Right? Let me get that in Hebrews, right? The 12th chapter. Your spirit might not have fault. Fault. See, David's flesh had fault. Hezekiah's flesh had fault. You know, Hezekiah showed all things to the Babylonians. His flesh had fault, man. Josiah, he didn't take heed to counsel and he didn't have discernment, and he got slew at the battle with the Egyptians, man. You know, his flesh wasn't right. Many men of Yahweh Shai, spirits were perfect, but their flesh wasn't perfect, right? So don't worry about the 144,000. They're not concerned about their flesh. They're working on their spirit, right? This Hebrews chapter 12 and 23. To the general assembly and church of the firstborn, which are written in heaven, and to God, the judge of all, and to the spirits of just men made perfect. So the Lord is perfecting the spirits of the elect, right? And certain brother spirits are going to be made perfect, man. If not made already perfect by the offering and blood of our Lord Yahweh. So in their mouth is found no guile. Guile isn't just the word guile, it means deceit, trickery. You know, it could be falsehoods, lies. But guile on a deeper level, it represents your disingenuous spirit. A disingenuous, I believe that's the word, being disingenuous, insincerity, you know, having ulterior motives. Those are the things. Now, when it says mouth, but it really starts with your mind. Right? Let me get this in Mark, the 7th chapter, right? Because it all starts with your mind, right? Because that's what's embedded in your spirit. So this Mark chapter 7 and verse number 21. For from within, out of the heart of men, proceed evil thoughts, adulteries, fornications, murders. So these are the things that come out of a wicked man's mouth. He's going to be talking of lust and murder and fornication and rebellion and pride and folly, thefts, covetousness, wickedness, deceit, lasciviousness, an evil eye, blasphemy, pride, foolishness. All these things come from within and defile the man. You see, the 144,000, the Lord said that these was one of their traits. It reads, these are they which were not defiled with women. But certain men are going to be defiled because certain men's spirits ain't right, man. Certain brothers, you know, they may come off outwardly like they're righteous or they're doing the work of the Most High, but inwardly, this is what they talk about, and this is what's on their mind and on their spirit: deceit, lasciviousness, guile, wickedness, pride, theft. Talking about I got to deal with this man's wife, and you know I want to murder this brother, or these people are going off, and all types of madness, man. So if you're one of the 144,000, you're not going to be defiled and you're not going to have guile. And it's more so in your spirit than your flesh, which is a sure sign that the 144,000 are going to be sincere, right? And you're going to be able to discern between who's sincere and who's not. And ultimately, the Most High, He's going to put that great severance out between who's sincere, who doesn't have guile, and who's not sincere. And one more point, you don't have to know 10,000 breakdowns and precepts to be one of the 144,000. You don't have to be in the truth for 50 years to be one of the 144,000. You don't have to drop 10,000 videos a year to be one of the 144,000. It's about the spirit in that man and the election that the Most High has set up. But brothers have to, like the brother was saying, follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. That's the end all be all. If Yahushua said, make your body a living sacrifice, you're doing it. If Yahushua said, abstain from the pollutions of the flesh, you're doing it. You're going to follow the Lamb wherever he go. Right, let me get one more real quick. Let's go to 2nd Ezra, the 2nd chapter. So you want to examine your spirit, right, and see if there's guile in your spirit. Don't look at the flesh. We all got blemishes, and brothers got their pores clogged up and acne and folly and, you know, whatever, man, ingrowns and all types of blemishes and spots and what have you, man, old and wrinkled. Don't look at the flesh, look at the spirit. You know, do you have secret envy? Because that's guile. Are you in this knowledge looking to capitalize and make money and a profit off of Israel? That's guile. Are you in this truth and looking and plot for women and wives just to pop them and leave them, that's guile, right? So, if you call yourself striving to be one of the 144,000, you got to look in your spirit, right? Not the flesh. This second Ezra, chapter 2 and verse number 40. We'll get straight to the point. 42. I, Ezra, saw upon Mount Zion a great people whom I cannot number, and they all praised the Lord with songs. Now, this goes to that great multitude. And in the midst of them, there was a young man of a high stature, taller than all the rest. And upon every one of their heads he set crowns, and was more exalted, which I marveled at greatly. This is Yahushua. A young man of a high stature is Yahushua, right? Verse number 44. So I asked the angel and said, Sir, what are these? I mean, what are all these men? He answered and said unto me, These be they that have put off the mortal clothing and put on the immortal, and have confessed the name of God. Now are they crowned and receive palms. So these are that elect, right? They're going to have immortal bodies, and these men have confessed the name of God. Doesn't mean that these men just say Yahweh and they wiped their hands and went to go eat pork. I confessed his name. I said his name is Yahweh, Bashim Yahushua, and I went to go commit adultery. No, when you confess the name of the Most High, it means that you're living this thing, right? The Lord said with the mouth, confession is made unto salvation. So it starts with what you speak, and it should follow, Most High will, it should follow with what you do. So confessing the name of the Most High is you actually, on a deeper level, doing what the Most High requires of you. Verse 46. Then said I unto the angel, What young person is it that crowneth them and giveth them palms in their hands? So he answered and said unto me, It is the Son of God, whom they have confessed in the world. Then began I greatly to commend them that stood so stiffly for the name of Yahweh. So another trait of the 144,000 is they're going to be unmovable. You can't shake them with doctrine. You can't shake them with money. You can't shake them with a job that's going to make them sin and work on the Day of Atonement and break the Sabbath. You can't shake these men with some whore. You can't shake these men with a demon that's going to sift them out. You can't shake them in Jacob's trouble. You can't shake them when they're looking head on at a guillotine, when they're at a FEMA camp, when they are a pilgrim on the earth. Nothing's going to stop these men from following Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. These men are going to stand stiffly for the name of the Lord. So one of the traits of the elect is their faith and also their boldness to denounce evil and sin. And they don't take sin lightly, man. The 144,000, they don't take wickedness lightly, man. It's not just something that they just kind of brush off, and it's something that's not a big deal. Sin is a very big deal to the 144,000. And standing bold for the name of the Lord and wickedness and evil and rebuking those things, those are also things that the 144,000 are going to be doing in the last days. But you got it, King.
Come, let's go to Romans chapter 8, and we can start at verse 35. Right, boldness. That's a key thing. Right, boldness, because nothing should be able to separate you from the love of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Right, a bold man who loves his wife isn't going to let a raging river stop him from saving his wife, or a man who loves his children going to let an inferno stop him from running into that building and getting his children. How much more Yahweh Shem Yahushua? Right, how much more the Most High in Yahweh Shah who laid down his life for us, right? This is Romans chapter 8 and verse number 35, right? Who shall separate us from the love of Yahweh Shah? Shall tribulation or distress or persecution or famine or nakedness or peril or sword? Right? What's gonna separate you from the love of Yahweh Shah? Right? Yahweh Shah who came and knocked at your door at your lowest point, because we all came into this truth when we were at our lowest point, right? You may have been going through a breakup, right? You may have lost your apartment or your house or a job, a family member, right? Who knows the tribulation that you were at, because a contrite heart is a sacrifice unto Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Well, he came and hand plucked you out that fire. So you're going to let a little tribulation cause you to fall out the truth? cause you to denounce being an Israelite, cause you to denounce Yahweh Shai, right? A little distress or persecution, right? Because they talking about your fringes at work. It was a brother I knew. His name was Ephraimite brother. What was his name? I believe Chris, right? His Ephraimite brother named Chris, right? He was in the newspaper and everything because they wanted him to shave his beard to join the police force, right? But he was like, I'm not shaving my beard. I'm not wearing my fringes, or I'm not wearing my fringes, right? They took it into the news, right? It was a big deal, right? That man stood stiffly for Yahweh Shem Shai, right? As it is written, for thy sake we are killed all day long. We are accounted as sheep for the slaughter. Nay, in all these things, we are more than conquerors through him that loved us. So though we are slaughtered all day long, persecuted, we're destroyed at work, right? Every time you turn around and look at your bank account, you're missing money because they got that automatic payment when they're taking bills, right? You looked at your bank account at 10 o'clock in the morning, had $500. You looked at it at 11:03, and you got $33 left or $35, right? You don't know what to do, right? You walk around with your hands on your head, right? You looking for payday loans, right? Though we're destroyed and we're slaughtered, right? We have more confidence in the conquering because through him that loved us, through Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, we're able to overcome these things, right? We're not doubting them, we're not questioning, right? We're not skipping a beat. Yeah, you hit a lower state, you keep moving. Right, verse 38. For I'm persuaded that neither death, nor life, nor angels, nor principalities, nor powers, nor things present, nor things to come, nor height, nor depth, nor any other creature shall be able to separate us from the love of Yahweh, which is in Yahweh Shai, Hamashiach, our Savior, or our Lord. Right? So there's no way we can be separated from Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai once we've been enlightened into this truth. Right? And if you are separated from the love of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah, you weren't one of his lambs that he called. Right? The truth hurts. Lord forbid that happens to anybody on this live or us who are teaching. But if that happens, you're not one of his sheep or his fold. Because you're supposed to love the Lord through death. Right? Though we die for the Lord. Though we live for the Lord. So nothing should be able to separate you from the love of Yahweh Shai. Right? And the things that separate you from the love of Yahweh Shai is the things that defile a man. Those things that corrupt a man, right? That corrupt a man's heart. Let's go to Matthew chapter 15 and go to verse number 11. Right? Because even the woman at the well, he told her to sin no more. She was an adulteress. She was caught in the act. You know how much love you got to have for somebody to not let you be put to death, but tell you sin no more?
Right.
That's a love I've never seen nor heard of until I started reading the scriptures. Right? But this is Matthew chapter 15 and verse number 11. Where it says, not that which goes, so like not that which goeth into the mouth defileth a man, but that which come out of the mouth, this defileth a man. Right? So you're not defiled because you may have accidentally ate something unclean. Or you like I don't know, peas and mayonnaise mixed together. That's not defiling you as a person, right? It may hurt your stomach in the end, but it's that which comes out of your mouth, right? So you can defile yourself by denying the Lord, right? You're not Peter, right? The Lord didn't have that put in your cards to have to deny the Lord 3 times, right? You can be, I don't know, in a tough situation and not call upon the Lord, right? And you're denying the man. Because in all things, you're supposed to rely on the Lord. You could be defiling yourself right there. Or you might say something blasphemous and don't even realize it. Right? You're defiling yourself there. So standing stiffly for the love of Yahweh Shem Yahushai is not being defiled with the things that you say. right? Not letting the things that come out of your mouth uproot you and destroy you and pluck you out, right? You got to be in. Is integratable a word?
I believe
Man,
from what, yeah,
we
could
over here playing. We playing Scrabble tonight.
be right.
Yeah, but you have to have some sort of integrity that you have your tongue and your mind and your speech under subjection, right? But you got it, King.
Yeah, that's right, man. That's it's like I was saying if that was an actual word, right? They said it could be, you know. But brothers got to have that spirit, man. You know, here we are in the last days and the end of the world. All hell is breaking loose. Prophecies are unfolding, and the Most High is giving the straight commandment, and it's plain. It's really plain upon tables what spirit we should be in, right? The Lord said that all men have not faith, man. You know, so we want to make sure. I believe that's actually that's Second Thessalonians, right? We want to make sure that we're building ourselves up in the faith of the Most High. We're bold. You know, these are spirits of the elect, of the 144,000. Second, and again, you're not going to be able to rule kingdoms in the world to come if you can't rule over yourself now. Stop thinking that you could just skate into being one of the 144,000. It ain't like a job, man, where they need a warm body. Certain jobs just hire you, and you think that you're the best candidate. Man, they just needed somebody, man, for that budget. They needed somebody, you know, to help and get the job done, huh? You know, the Most High is not like the so-called white man's job system, and we just need a body, a warm body. The Most High has hand. He's watching right now. He's searching. Before I get that, brought that out earlier. The Most High is searching, man. What is Zephaniah, the first chapter? Right, Zephaniah chapter 1, and let's see. Bear with me. I want to get this. 1 and 12. It reads, "And it shall come to pass at that time that I will search Jerusalem with candles, and punish the men that are settled on their leaves, that say in their heart, the Lord will not do good, neither will he do evil." So right now, the Lord is searching Jerusalem, not the actual city where the Amalekites are at, being sodomites and waging war, but the city is the people. We're Jerusalem. And right now, as a people, the Most High is searching us with candles. So all of the things that you are doing in the dark, all of your sins, things that you may not confess, things that you may think that you're getting away with, what spirit you're in, what motives you have, what, you know, are you sincere, are you not? All of that is being searched out with candles. Now, on a spiritual level, see, candles are fire. You know, the angels are fire. The Lord said he maketh his ministers a flaming fire in Psalms chapter 104 and 4. So really searching Jerusalem with candles is the Most High got the angels, that fire going through that it's 10,000 times brighter than the sun. And they're beholding all the ways of men. And right now the Lord is putting men into categories. Just like a coach. When you got 20 people that try out, you only got about what? Let's say you got 30 people that try out for basketball. What, 15 people make the team? Right? I think it's was it 15? I think it's 15 people, man, maybe 12, something like that. And so you got 15 people on the roster. And then after that, the coach, he's looking at the team. And some coaches, I remember that in the movie Friday Night Lights, even in football. Friday Night Lights, the movie with the one not the TV show, the one back in the day, the one where they lost in the championship. Immediately after the season, the coach was at home and he had the names of all of the people that just played and he knocked them off. And then he had the new guys that was going to play and he was putting them, he was envisioning who was going to start, who was going to be the backup, who was going to be third string, who was going to be the quarterback, who was going to do this. And the Most High is doing that, man. He has all of the men of the Lord, and right now the Most High is deciding, it's already written, but if brothers can understand on a carnal level, the Most High is deciding who's going to be who, you know? And you could lose your spot, man. They got practice going on, man, in sports. People lose their spot in the midst of practice. You can be the number one quarterback, first day of practice. By the time it's the first game, and you're the third string. You know? So right now, the Most High, he's searching Jerusalem with candles. He's putting men into their proper rank and order. And you can lose your rank or you can move up in rank. You know? So let me read this again. It reads, that I will search Jerusalem with candles and punish the men that are settled on their leads. So certain men are just settled. They're complacent. They're content with America. They're content with their own selves. They're not looking to improve. They're not looking to build up their people. They're not looking to be followers of the Lamb. They're not looking to guide the flock into righteousness. They say in their heart, the Lord would not do good, neither will he do evil. So pretty much, they don't believe in the Most High, man. And their own God is their belly. And that is not a trait of the 144,000. 144,000, they fear in everything. Let me get that real quick in Sirach chapter 18. Right? So this is a tryout season. Greatly paraphrasing, man. Right? This is Ecclesiasticus 18 and verse 27. I'm gonna start at 27. A wise man will fear in everything, and in the day of sinning, he will be aware of offense, but a fool will not observe time. So a wise man, he's going to fear in everything. Everything matters. Having your fringes on matters. Even if you damn taking the trash out, that matters. Even if you're going to the store, it matters. Right? How he deals with his wife, right? How he deals with his children. He's going to fear in everything. That was on order today. Did I do this today? I didn't study. I was supposed to read. I could have did this better. I fell short here. And I got to repent. That's what the spirit of the 144,000 are going to have. Everything matters to them. They don't have that worldly. Right now, it's cool to be nonchalant. It's cool to kind of be, a whatever kind of spirit. You can't have a whatever nonchalant, too cool for school spirit. You got to fear in everything in these last days. And when you sin, you got to know that you sinned, man. It shouldn't be 10 days later went by, you said, damn, I did eat that pork chop. Brother, you should have known that, man, day one. You're checking this out. You're looking into this ingredient. You're figuring out, okay, the Sabbath comes in right here. I got to get this done early. And you're going to be aware when you go off. Damn, I could have treated that brother better today. Man, I could have did this better with my children. Man, at camp, I could have did this better. Man, I went off. You're going to be aware of your offense. A fool, that's not 144,000. He's not even going to observe time. Meaning this means he has no discernment. Doesn't mean he doesn't know how to tell time. He knows what 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 5:15 is. But this means he has no discernment. He's not observing the times and the judgments of Yahweh Shemiah Shah. But one thing about the 144,000, they're going to walk this truth in a tightrope. They're going to accept the grace and liberty of the Most High that he gave us, but they're going to fear in everything as well to have that just balance. But you got it, King.
Con. I had a precept for the last precept you brought out. Let's go to Job. Let's go 22 and verse number 6. Start at 6. Right? Because like you said, the Most High is looking, where he's understanding in all things. He knows ups and downs, lefts and right. He sees everything that we're doing. Right? And like the brother said, nobody's perfect. Right? We're in this corruptible flesh, right? We think thoughts of lewd and wicked things without even realizing, right? You're going to go off. We're all going to go off, right? But it's about what do you do when you go off? Because the elect, they're going to change, man, right? You're going to work on those mechanics to fix your jump shot, right? You missed the state championship game because you missed the free throw. What are you going to do? You're going to sit there and cry in your room eating Doritos, right? Playing slow songs? Or are you going to get back in the gym? Work on those mechanics. Perfect that free throw. So if you're ever put in that situation again, you're going to be better. You're going to exceed. Right? You're going to excel what you did. Right? You was about to say something, King?
No. Wow.
Oh, God. And another point, like the brother said, in Friday Night Lights, he was knocking off all the names. That town had an expectation of championship. Right? Every year, the expectation was win or your season sucks. Right? And what happens the first, was it the practice? I believe it was practice.
Yeah.
Right? The star running back tears his knee up. Right? The coach didn't make excuses. It was next man up. Right? Was it Booby Miles?
Booby, you want to win, put Booby in.
Right. You want to win, put Booby in. Tore his knee up, man. Doctors told him he'll never play again. But the coach made adjustments. That's what the elect have to do. You make adjustments when you fall short, right? You don't make excuses and try to hide behind your sins and put on these fig clothings and cloth clothing to cover yourself up, right? But this is Job 22:6, right? For thou hast taken a pledge from thy brother for naught and stripped the naked of their clothing. Thou hast not given water to the weary to drink. Thou hast withholden bread from the hungry, right? So this is Eliphaz, yes, Eliphaz speaking, right? He's getting on Job, man. Man, all this is happening in you because you didn't do this, you didn't do that, right? But as for the mighty man, he had the earth, and the honorable man dwelt in it. Thou hast set widows away empty, and the arms of the fatherless have been broken, right? Therefore, snares are round about thee, and sudden fear troubleth thee, right? So if you're not doing the things that the Most High requires of you, right, there's snares and there's trouble waiting for you, right? You can't just be like, yeah, I'm catching affliction, trials and tribulations. No, you have to examine yourself. See why you're getting these trials and tribulations and hell coming upon you, right?
Right.
It's not just because the Most High want to see if you're gonna fold every 20 days. What you doing? It could be, or it could be of your own doing, right? It could be of your own doing and your own wickedness that is troubling you, right? Or darkness that thou cannot see, in abundance of water cover thee. Is not Yahweh in the height of heaven, and behold the height of the stars and how high they are, right? And thou sayest, how doeth Yahweh know? Can he judge through dark clouds? That's what a wicked man says, right? You creeping out your house late at night, right? Your lady upstairs sleep, right? You gave her one of those sleepy gummies that you give to the kids, right? And she knocked out, you shaking her, she not waking up. You sneak out the house and go meet up with I don't know,
Rhonda.
Rhonda. Rhonda up the street. And you don't got no business being with. Right? You cover you take your fringes off and you put on a shirt that don't have fringes. Right? You like the Lord can't see me. It's dark out here. It's a dark cloud. Right? And thou sayest, how doeth Yahweh know? Can he judge through the dark cloud? Thick clouds are a covering to him. They see him not, and he walketh in the circuit of heaven. Right? That's a foolish man right there. The Lord can't see me. It's a dark overcast. It's a dark overcast. Right? It's about a 75% chance of rain. How's the Lord going to see it? Right? It's been cloudy all day. Surely the Lord can't see me. Right? Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 10. The Lord is trying the reins of every man. Right? Seeing what's going on. Examining. Trying your spirit. Right? Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse number 10. I, the Lord, searched the heart. I tried the reins, even to give every man according to his ways and according to the fruit of his doings. So the Lord is trying your reins every day. When you wake up and say that new man is here, the Lord is trying you, right? How many times have you been reading something and the exact thing that you're reading about is presented in front of you that same day?
Right.
That's the Lord trying your reins to see if you're obtaining the things that the Most High has put forth for you to understand or put forth for you to overcome. Right? As the partridge sitteth on eggs and hatch them not, so he that getteth riches and not by right shall leave them in the midst of his days, and at his end shall be a fool. Right? And yeah, that's talking about literal riches, but the spiritual riches, you're not getting your riches the right way. All you're doing is watching videos, but you never read your Bible. Right? You ain't never get a paper cut from turning the pages too fast. Right? Your Bible should look like it's been beat up because you've been in it. Or your phone, your app, it's the Bible app. It tells you how many days that you read. They got the streaks. Right? Your streak shouldn't start over because you ain't read it 14 years. Right? That's how you got to be. The Most High is going to try your ways. He's going to see what you're doing. Now, there's nothing wrong with watching videos and getting understanding. That's a chief way to get it. But you got to apply the effort too, right? And get your riches the right way. So in the end, you're not accounted as a fool. You're not accounted as one who just beateth the air and smashes the dirt. Right, but you got it, King.
Yeah, right. That's right, man. And that goes hand in hand. See, one thing about the 144,000 to go into that is all of the counsel and all of the traits that they're going to apply. They're going to go 1,000% at it, man. You're not going to do a half, you know what job and give a half effort when it comes to serving Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. A lot of our fathers. Let me get this in Hebrews 11, man. They died serving the Lord, man. They made their body a living sacrifice. Some of these men were tortured. Certain a prophet was sawn in half, right? Tradition says Isaiah was sawn in half. Jeremiah was thrown in the dungeon. The 12 apostles, with the exception of John the Revelator, were all tortured and were martyred for Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. So one of the 144,000, another trait that they're going to have is that they're going to make their bodies a living sacrifice. And they're going to ensure that their life revolves around this truth, and they don't try to make this truth revolve around their lives. Right? This is Hebrews chapter 11 and verse number, I mean, this is a beautiful chapter right here. Verse 33. Who through faith subdued kingdoms, wrought righteousness, obtained promises, stopped the mouths of lions. So Dan, you read about this, goes into Daniel, Abraham. Certain men subdued kingdoms like David, quenched the violence of the fire. Right? You read about the song of the three holy children, escaped the edge of the sword. Right? Men like Elijah dealing with Jezebel. Out of weakness were made strong. Right? Men like Gideon and other men waxed valiant in fight, turned to flight the armies of the aliens. He had Joshua and certain men. Women received their dead raised to life again. Right? You read that in 2 Kings 4. The woman, the mother, rather, in 2 Maccabees, the 7th chapter. She's going to see her sons raised to life again. And others were tortured, not accepting deliverance. Yeah, Eleazar in 2 Maccabees 6, the apostles, Yahweh Shai, our Lord, that they might obtain a better resurrection. So certain men were put to death. They were tortured. They didn't accept deliverance, man. They said, one of my favorite word statements in the Bible by a man of the Lord was Eleazar, when he said, send me to the grave, man. They said, look, man, just pretend you're eating pork. We're going to give you meat that you can eat some lamb. He said, send me to the grave, man. I know he said that with an austere, bold spirit, man. See, he's one of the elect, man. Eleazar, he's one of the elect. Those 7 brothers that got tortured for the name of the Lord in 2 Maccabees 7, those are men of the elect. See, these men are going to put their lives on the line and go 1,000% for Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, man. They won't accept deliverance, man. They're not looking to sell out. They're not looking to live a little longer in these bodies, man, just for the sake of living a little longer. They rather die in Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. They rather bear the burdens, bear the affliction, deal with this. And a lot of brothers, that's the reason why they fall out, because of the tribulations. They become too heavy for man to bear. I'll tell you that in Sirach, I believe the 4th chapter, it weighs on them like a stone, and they cast it ere long, paraphrasing. So certain brothers, they deal with so much burdens, and you may have a family, or you may run into financial jams or health issues, or your loved ones might be affected, and your job, you might be catching hell, and opportunities might close up, and things may befall you. But one of the 144,000 traits is they're resilient. Right? Let me get that word resilience. Right? That is the trait. Let's see if I can get that. Resilience of one of the 144,000. Here's the definition: the capacity to withstand or to recover quickly from difficulties, toughness. Now, I didn't say the capacity to be elusive and juke your way out of it, and you can kind of do this to trials. And no, it says it's coming, and they embrace it and they withstand it. Like you watched that movie 300, man. The army is coming. They put their shields down and they deal with it, man. They had to deal with it. They were stuck between straits in that movie, man. And they had to withstand that push, that initial surge from the enemy, man. That's a beautiful movie. And then once their feet stopped and they held their ground, they lifted up their shields and they start thrusting and putting in work. And that's what brothers have to do in this knowledge, man. You got to put your shield down, pursuant to Ephesians, the 6th chapter. Quench the fiery darts of the wicked. Turn your feet a certain way so your knees don't buckle, and deal with it, man. You have to be resilient. And you got to be able to recover quickly, man. Like the brother said, man, I mean, it's not how you fall. I believe Amos, you said how you get back up. And to add to that is how quick you get back up. Yes, a just man falleth 7 times and riseth up again, but he ain't gonna rise up after 5 years, man. He was on the ground for 5 years. Okay, I think I want to kind of get back into this thing. No, man, you got in boxing, if you don't get up after you get knocked down, you got a time. What they give you, 8 seconds, 10 seconds, man. You know? That go ahead, King.
It was 10 seconds.
Yeah, the ref, man, and some of these refs got a quick count. Every ref don't count on the same pace, man. You know, some of these refs 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 5, and then some of these guys wave their hands, man. You can't, and some boxers want to lay on the ground. Like, I need them 9 seconds. You try to get up to 10, but then you get up and your knees buckle and it's over, man. If you're not upright in boxing and you can't, what they say, you got to rub your mittens, your gloves on the ref, man. If you can't do that and hold it down after you get up, the fight is still over. You can get up and the fight can still be over in boxing. Some guys, that happens every day, man. People get up and one eye be over here, another eye be over here. They standing sideways and they don't know where the hell they at. You got to get up and you got to be focused when you get up. That's called resilience. You got to get up and be able to recover and get back into that fighting stance. Right? So that's what this means in Hebrews chapter 6. Right? Not accepting deliverance. Let me read this. Hebrews 11. Hebrews 11 and 35. Women received their dead raised to life again. Others were tortured, not accepting deliverance, that they might obtain a better resurrection. And others had a trial of cruel mockings. Yeah, you had certain men that were like Paul, Antipas, the faithful martyr, that were tortured, cruel mockings, brazen bulls, skinned alive, and scourgings. Yeah, moreover, bonds and imprisonment. Jeremiah was in bonds. Peter was in prison. They were stoned. Paul got stoned. Stephen was stoned. They were stoned. They were sawn asunder. Yes, it says Isaiah the prophet was sawn in half. Were tempted and were slain with the sword. James in Acts 12, he got slain with the sword, man. John the Baptist got slain with the sword. So men were tempted. They were slain with the sword. They wandered about in sheepskins and goatskins like Elisha, Elijah, being destitute, afflicted, tormented, man. So they had it. Brothers think they got it bad, man. All these men we're reading about that I named paraphrasing, those men are going to be in the kingdom. Imagine wandering about destitute, afflicted, and tormented, man, with sheepskin and damn goatskin. Every brother, you got a bed to lay on, man. More than likely, you got some food going on. You got them cans in that cabinet. You got food in your refrigerator, man. You got running water. You got a Bible. You got an apocrypha. You're good, man. They wasn't walking around with Bibles. They couldn't just go, man, I need to read some Psalms. You think you think these men was able to just open up and read the Psalms, man? They was out, man. Some of these men asked for the Most High to take their life from them. But they endured, afflicted and tormented, of whom the world was not worthy. They wandered in deserts and in mountains and in dens and caves of the earth. Yeah, John the Baptist, he was in the wilderness. Elijah was in caves, man. Right? These men were in mountains. And after these, and these all obtained a good report through faith, receive not the promise. So, and these all, having obtained a good report through faith, receive not the promise. Imagine that, man. They went through all that and still didn't get the promises. And they probably thought the promises were going to come in their life, but they died, man. They died. They fell asleep, rather, of old age. Elijah's eyes got dim. He didn't think his eyes were going to get dim. Who would have thought that, man? He had a double portion of Elijah's spirit. Certain men were beheaded. They didn't know they were going to get beheaded, but they endured. The 144,000, they're going to endure. They're going to be resilient. and they're going to obtain a good report. Verse 40, here's the point. The Most High, having provided some better thing for us, that they without us should not be made perfect. You see that? So it doesn't just stop with them. It says that they, meaning the men who came before us and the women that came before us, that they without us, right? The us represents obviously the Israelites in the last days, should not be made perfect. So they're going to really what the Most High saying is they're waiting on us, man, to finish. Right? They're waiting on us to be wandering about, to be resilient, to endure, and to have a good report through faith. So another trait about the 144,000 is they're going to have a spirit of resilience, and they're going to know how to compartmentalize and not damn destroy themselves, man. They're going to know how to reach out to counsel, confess their faults. They're going to have outlets. They're going to be able to pray. They're going to seek the Most High. They're going to be able to do the things that all of our fathers have done. But you got it, King.
Salaki, Khan, that's a heavy point right there. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 4. I think I want to start at verse number 7. First Corinthians 4 and 7. Salaki. We get the different. Yeah, I'm going to start at 8. 1 Corinthians 4 and verse number 8. Now ye are full, now ye are rich, ye have reigned as kings without us, and I would to Yahweh ye did reign, that we also might reign with you. Right? So this is pretty much the same thing that the brother was reading. For I think that Yahweh has set forth us the apostles last, as it were appointed to death. For we are made a spectacle unto the world, and to angels, and to men. Right? So if your life is set up to be an apostle, a teacher, an evangelist, right, you're going to be made a spectacle into the world. But with you being made a spectacle into the world, the people who are receiving and watching are being made strong while we're being made weak. Right? You know, we read the comments sometimes. Right? We laugh at them. We don't pay them too much attention. Sometimes brothers be offended and they get hurt. Right? We had an elder who was out years ago. It might have been like 7 years ago. Right? The brother stopped the elder stopped coming around because he read a comment or a brother made a video, called him a one West reject, and he got offended and stopped coming out. Right? We're set forth as a spectacle. Right? That's why Yahweh Bashim Yahushai has a great reward for those who lay down their life, for him. He says, precious in the sight of the Lamb is their blood. Loosely paraphrased. Let's get that in Psalms chapter 72, at verse number 12. Right? Psalm 72 and 12. Right? You got to remember that all these works are not in vain. Right? All these works are important to the ministry. Right? Those forefathers who were martyrs for this truth, they laid down the foundation for us in these last days. So that we may, we don't know our end lot or what may happen to us. We may be martyrs for this truth, set forth to show young men and young women how to go when their time is to be tried. Right? I'm going to start at verse 13. Right? He shall spare the poor and needy and shall save the souls of the needy. Right? This is a song from David talking about Solomon, but on a deeper level, it's talking about Yahweh Shai. Right? Verse number 14. He shall redeem their soul from deceit and violence, and precious shall their blood be in his sight. Right? So those men who are laid down their life for Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, their blood is precious in his sight. Right? Their blood, the spirit goes back up, and they're complaining to the Most High for the deceit and violence, right? Righteousness. Right? That stuff is precious in the sight of the Lord. Right? You think the Lord giving up all these men was nothing in his sight? Right? It was nothing that he laid down our forefathers to die in his name, and he just bats an eye at it? No, those are honorable things. Right? Those are honorable deaths to have. Right? It's honorable to stand up for Yahweh Bashem Yahushua to your very last breath. Right? Let's get an example of that. Let's go to Acts chapter 7, and we can start at verse number 53. Salaki. Isaiah chapter 7 and verse 53. Or start at verse 52. Which of the prophets have not your fathers persecuted? And they have slain them which shewed before of the coming of the just one, of whom you had been now the betrayers and murderers. Right? So which one of our forefathers have not these wicked Israelites slain? Have they not persecuted? Right? Have they not thrown stuff at them while they've been prophesying to save their lives? Right? Who have received the law by the dispensation of angels and have not kept it. Right? The Lord equated these men to angels. Right? An angel is just a messenger. Right? That messenger is teaching you how to be perfect in the sight of the Lord. And what does Israel do? They turn around and they want to slay the prophets. Saw them in half, like the brother said. Put them on X crosses. Right? Put them in that brazen bull. Can you bring up the brazen bull for those who haven't seen it, Baba Shaw? Right? These torture tactics are ridiculous. Right? I guarantee you, a lot of brothers say that they, will die for Yahweh Shem Shah. Imagine being put in this position right here. Right? You could be claustrophobic. Right? They put you inside a brass bull and heat it up. Ain't no escaping from that. Look at that. They tie you up, put you in there, and you just burn to death. Would you really go through that in the name of Yahweh Shem Shah? If you got to question that, now is the time for you to pray into the Most High to prepare your spirit for the things that can come. To prepare your spirit for the things that you don't know what could befall you. Right? Everybody thinks they're gonna have a scotch-free walk into the kingdom of heaven. Right? The Lord said the righteous being scarcely saved. Scarcely saved? That's like you walking across the street and the light turned green and you just happen to get out the crosswalk and you can feel the wind of the car running right past you. Right? That's being scarcely saved. Right? These is brutal images right here. Right? We can it's crazy. Let's go. We can go back to Acts, verse number 54. When they heard these things, they were cut to the heart and they gnashed on him with their teeth. Right? And that's what the prophets do, man. They cut people up to the spirit, man. That's Hebrews 4 and 12. Right? These aren't our words. Right? We're just oracles and vessels for the Lord to use us to preach the gospel and things that are meat and things that are meant to cut and correct. Right? So they're cut to the heart. Right? They don't know what to do. But he being full of the Holy Ghost looked up steadfastly. Right? That's a synonym for resilience. Right? Steadfast is another synonym for resilience into heaven. And saw the glory of Yahweh and Yahweh Shah standing on the right hand of Yahweh. Right? And we can see, these atrocities happening, but we don't know the mercy that the Most High has put on these men. Right? They could have not felt any pain at all. Right? You read 2 Maccabees, the 7th chapter, right? They were still cussing him out while they were getting flayed and put to death.
Right.
They were still cussing him out. Imagine that spirit. You still prophesying and magnifying the name of the Lord while you dying slowly in agony. Right? And said, behold, I see the heavens open and the Son of Man standing on the right hand of Yahweh. Then they cried out with a loud voice and stopped their ears and ran upon him with one accord. Right? These is wicked people right here, man. Right? Covered their ears and wanted to then put even more pain upon him, man. And cast him out of the city and stoned him. And the witnesses laid down their clothes at this young man's feet, whose name was Saul. And they stoned Stephen, calling upon God and saying, Lord Jesus, Lord Yahweh shall receive my spirit. And he kneeled down and cried with a loud voice, Lord, lay not this sin to their charge. And when he had said this, he fell asleep. Imagine the spirit you're in, right? You get stoned, you get hit in the head with boulders and rocks, and the last thing you say is lay not this sin to their charge, right? And the last point of, attributes of being part of the elect is being forgiven, right? It's forgiving, man. Forgiving your brother 70 times, 7 times, man. Right? Knowing that even the most righteous of us is going to fall short and that we all receive mercy. And you loving your brother as you love yourself. Right? But you got it, King.
Yeah, that's the spirit. I'm gonna actually get that, right? Matthew, because if you got all of this, all of the traits that brothers have, but you despise your brother. You got some brothers have built up resentment. You can't let go. You got grudges. You can't communicate. Some brothers have bad communication skills, man. You have a hard time or you find it difficult expressing to a brother certain offenses that he may have done to you. So it turns into leaven, it turns to a spirit. A brother may have did something wrong to you and he had a demon on him, but you can't let it go. Brother might be, whatever, man. Brothers have to learn to add to the brother's point to have that spirit. So I'm gonna read it. Matthew 18 and 21. Then came Peter to him and said, Lord, how oft shall my brother sin against me and I forgive him? Till 7 times? Yahushua saith unto him, I say not unto thee until 7 times, but until 70 times 7, which means it's not 490 times, right? This is an indefinite amount of times, right? That's what 70 times 7 means, right? So I'm gonna get another quick precept of 2 Corinthians. So brothers have to do that, and it's not just brothers. You gotta learn how to forgive your wife, man. Right? Y'all might have got into it, or whatever. She got to learn how to forgive you. You got to learn how to forgive your children. You got to learn how to forgive your father, man. Maybe your father's not around, man. Maybe your mother walked out on you. Maybe somebody did something to you. You can't be one of the 144,000. You got all this baggage of resentment and leaven and folly in you, man. Right? You have to purge those things out and be born again. And the Lord said we die daily, man. 144,000, they're going to die daily pursuant to 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter, and constantly die and purge off that old man and be renewed day by day. Right? So this is I want 2 Corinthians real quick, chapter 2. This 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse number, I'll get straight to the point. I'm gonna read 7. So that contrariwise, ye ought rather to forgive him and comfort him, lest perhaps such an one should be swallowed up with overmuch sorrow. Yeah, brother might feel so bad for doing something, he'll swallow him up, man. He'll start cutting himself, thinking about how he's going to kill himself, separate himself from the brotherhood, take that anger and wrath out, destroy his family, then hold a shotgun to his head, and what follows after that, man. So some brothers, they may have sinned, but that's not an opportunity for you to tread them down like the mire in the streets. Some brothers, they know they went off. If they got a sincere, contrite heart, and humility, then you comfort those brothers. Not, being mindful that you sin too, but also mindful that a brother could be swallowing himself up through that overmuch sorrow, right? Sorrow is good, right? But overmuch sorrow is not good. Verse 8, wherefore I beseech you that ye will confirm your love toward him, meaning strengthen him with your love. For to this end also did I write, that I might know the proof of you, whether ye be obedient in all things. So sometimes the Most High put you in situations to prove you. Because you might be obedient to not eating pork. You might be obedient to not breaking the Sabbath. You might be obedient to wearing your fringes. But are you obedient when it's time for you to show forgiveness? A lot of times, the Most High, these situations happen to know the proof of you. If you're going to be obedient in all things, or is it just some things? Verse number 10. To whom ye forgave anything, I forgive also. Meaning, whatever you forgive, I'm going to forgive it too, right? For if I forgave anything, to whom I forgave it, for your sakes forgave I it in the person of Hamashiach. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And this isn't talking about an iPhone, his devices, or that's talking about the technology. No, this is talking about the Most High can use Satan to put a grudge demon on you. But if you're a wise man, you're going to know that that's one of his ways to get you. One of Satan's ways is to bring confusion in your household, put a husband against a wife, have grudges and resentment in these spirits. Those are the devices of Satan. And if you give in to that, then you are a victim and you're a subject of the spiritual demon Satan. So brothers have to learn that these are his devices, man. Don't be ignorant, man. Be wise concerning how Satan can operate and use people and circumstances for you not to love your brother. The 144,000, they're going to have that discernment to know this is Satan trying to get me to hate my brother, to get me to hold a grudge. Hey, there's the brother Nabaka Olive, real quick, man, in Baltimore. The that TikToker, we know the video. The brother, I can't remember the TikToker, the streamer, whatever he was, man. And the brother ran down on the brother, man. Hey, the brother said, pretty much stop running up on me. He ain't said it like that, but he said it, man. But he said, man, he said, don't be running up on me like that, man. And he said it, how he had to say it, I guess. And then the brother was kind of taken aback, like, what the hell? But then the brother Nabaka was like, I forgive you. Did he get the brother a hug? He might have shook his hand.
Yeah, he hugged the brother. I'm trying to find it to send it to you.
Yeah, he gave the brother a hug, man. Hey, and nobody was around, man. It wasn't no camera around. It was a camera, but the brother wasn't thinking about the damn camera, man. That could have been an opportunity. It's a camera right here. Or the brother ran up on me. I'm embarrassed his brother, or whatever the case may be. The brother is older. The brother gave the brother a hug, man. And the brother went about his day, man. He said, I forgive you. Because Satan could put situations happen where you and the brother might not see eye to eye, and it could turn to a heated argument, then it could turn to a grudge, then it might turn to a fight, then it might turn to resentment, then it might turn to madness. You have to be cognizant of how Satan is operating. He's not always coming through a woman, man. He doesn't always come through an opportunity for you to break the Day of Atonement or the Sabbath. He doesn't always come by means of slothfulness, man. There are more ways that Satan and many people that Satan can use to destroy you, man. Did not Satan hop on Peter to try to get Yahushua to not go through the crucifixion? Yahushua perceived it quickly, man. He said, get thee behind me, Satan. That's not Peter, that's Satan. Thou art an offense unto me, for thou savorest not the things that be of God, but those that be of men. That's like if Amos said, look, man, we at camp, we going to camp, we out there, and I say, man, we don't need to go to camp anymore. The Yahushua ain't coming back. And the brother got to say, get thee behind thee, Satan, man. A lot of times, brother, you playing stuff off and you act like you gotta call Satan, man, so he don't try you. Right? But you followed the king, if not.
God, I sent it on the on the Twitter.
All right. I'm gonna pull it up.
Yeah.
You got it. Salaki, bear with me. I think I took you off stage. Salaki. All right. What the hell? All right, I'm gonna get it.
Come. There's nothing wrong with calling Satan Satan, man. Sometimes you gotta call a spade to understand that there's things set forth to deter this truth. Or it's things set forth to stop the elect from getting to where they gotta be.
All right, here it is right here.
God.
So look at this. It says this is from this brother Canel. I guess he's a streamer. Canel started his stream and immediately got pressed by some random guy that thought Canel was trying to jump him. Right? So let's see.
You already know what the vibe is, everything like that. So that's what we.
Stop running behind me, man.
What's
going on? Why you coming behind me like that, man?
What are you talking
All
about?
that fucking noise, you running up on me, man. What's up? What's wrong with you?
I'm just warning. What the?
That's what I was saying. What the fuck, man? How you running up on somebody like that?
Are you Golden from Los Videos? We good? Yeah, you scared the hell out of me, bro.
You scared me, like, come on, man.
Feel my heart.
No, it's good. It's good.
Feel my heart. Okay, we good?
It's good, love.
Okay.
I swear, love. It's good. I just like you can't do that where we come from and what we
Yeah.
raised down. You came out of nowhere.
And I was just running. That was just kind of like my intro.
Hey,
My fault. You safe, brother.
you too, love. It's all love.
It's all love.
It was a misunderstanding, but it's all love.
Okay. You just
I
say,
swear it's all love.
okay.
You see it? I
Yeah.
can't lie about it.
See that? So the brother said it's all love, man. All right, that's the brother, man. The brother said it's all love, man. You know, you got it, King.
Yeah, that brother said, I digress. You're my brother. I forgive you. Instantly.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
And that's a stranger.
God.
That's a stranger, man. You in Baltimore, man. Baltimore, curses everywhere, but that's rare. Brothers say, I digress. You my brother. I forgive you. You won't even say that. Brothers don't even say that to brothers in the truth, man.
Right.
That brother said that to a brother just in the world, man, who's on folly, right? All the time. Right. But you got anything else you can bring out closing precepts, King?
Yeah, we can wrap it up.
Okay,
God. We can hit 2nd Esdras chapter 16, right, verse 74. Right, and all you brothers and sisters, examine. Don't lie to yourself or play games with yourself. Be honest. Doing this live, I have a lot to work on myself. Right, I'd be lying saying I don't. We have the Most High, Lord willing, give us more time. In the land of the living to get our spirits right. But we all got things that we have to work on. First and foremost, we got to understand that we're on borrowed time, man. The days are being sped up for the elect's sake, man. It was just April 2 weeks ago. Examine the days. Examine the times that we're living in. Right? It's not a time to play. It's not a time to lollygag and put off day to day. Right? Get your heart in this thing wholeheartedly. Fall back in love with your first love. Right? Get around a congregation of brothers. Right? And there was a brother in the chat asking if we have a school. Come out to the harbor, Lord willing, on Fridays after 5:30 and Saturdays on the Sabbath about 3:30, 4 o'clock. Right? Come meet the brothers, man. Right? We're family. We just haven't met in this lifetime. Right? And I encourage all y'all to go out and congregate with brothers and congregate with sisters. Right? You can't do this on your own. Right? Woe to them that be alone, that have nobody to help them, when they fall. Loosely paraphrasing. But this is 2nd Esdras chapter 16 and 74. Hear, O ye my beloved, saith the Lord, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for Yahweh is your God, and the guide of them who keep my commandments and precepts, saith the Lord Yahweh. Let not your sins weigh you down, and let not your iniquities lift themselves up. Right? Don't be down in the dumps because you fall short. Right? Don't willingly sin. Make preparation for you to sin, and you lay yourself out a sin cloth, and you walk up and down and you just sin. Right? But you're going to fall short. Right? Don't let that beat you up. Stand upon your feet as a man or as a woman of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua and keep pushing. Woe be unto them that are bound with their sins and covered with their iniquities. Like as a field is covered over with bushes, and the path thereof covered with thorns that no man may travel through. It is left undressed and cast into the fire to be consumed therewith. So if you're going to let your sins weigh you down and destroy you, you're just more fuel fire for these nuclear missiles to come. But if you're truly righteous, you're going to get up. Like the brother said, it's not about how many times that you get knocked down. It's about how many times you get up and how fast you get up and dust yourself off. But with that, I yield.
And I'm gonna get the classic in the book of Revelation, chapter 22 and 12, right? Revelation 22 and 12. And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me to give every man according as his work shall be. So we know these prophecies unfolding. Jacob's trouble is on the horizon. All hell is going to break loose soon. Wars and these things are going to escalate. There was just a blood moon this past Shabbat, man. We had the Unity Camp. You had an earthquake in Jersey, right? The same day we talked through the Spirit of the Most High. Then you had a blood moon. You had chariot sightings. All this was the same day. You got wars, and you got China telling the United States, you're not running anything anymore. We don't care about your money. You got other wars in Asia. You got these things escalating. If you're not keeping watch, you're going to think that nothing is happening. Just because you don't see missiles flying from Iran to Israel doesn't mean that things aren't happening. You have to keep watch and know how soon Yahushua is coming quickly. That's measuring the time. And also knowing that his sacrifice that you have accepted, the knowledge, the wisdom, the studying, the praying, the fasting, the feast days, the sacrifices, the hours driven to labor and congregate, the time spent to watch the lives, to cut off things that separated you from the Most High. There's a reward for that. And the Most High is going to give that reward to every man according as his work shall be. So with that, we're going to close up, giving, of course, our honor and glory to Yahweh, by Shema Mashiach, like Rashad, Brother Nakwam,
Brother Amos.
Kwame Yasha, Shalom.
Shalom.